And let's make some predictions of headlines coming out of the Combine. Mark, get us going.
How about this headline? Cousins or out? Redskins talking trade
Got
with
it.
Niners. Makes sense?
Yep.
I don't know if it happens. We're not going to find that out during a press conference, but so much of the information at the Combine is stuff that leaks out from late-night meetings and negotiations, and I definitely think that Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers want to at least look into a trade for Kirk Cousins, a quarterback that Shanahan knows. And I understand they say we're going to be patient at quarterback, but coaches' fortunes are tied to quarterback success, and you cannot do what happened last year in San Francisco. They're going to look into Kirk Cousins at least. I'd be surprised if they don't.
Isn't it a classic smokescreen, too? Say, oh, we're going to be patient. We're not going to rush our way into this. And then you go and you strike for
it's
a
setting,
good passer
it's
like
setting
that.
expectations if it doesn't happen.
And it's such a Combine story. Combine stories start with agents, and Kirk Cousins' agent and the 49ers have all the motivation in the world to make him seem like he can get a huge deal from San Francisco to kind of stir things up and get Washington thinking.
Cousins isn't the only quarterback the 49ers will be looking into. My headline,
Ooh, nice transition.
Bell of the Ball, 3 vying for Jimmy G. The 49ers, Bears, and Browns are all going to go after Jimmy Garoppolo. And this idea that the Patriots are not going to trade him is going to seem silly when they're getting offers worth more than one first-round pick, multiple early-round picks on the table for a guy who's going to draw maybe not what Carson Wentz and Jared Goff drew last year in trade compensation.
Wow.
But more than people expect.
Speaking of smokescreen, and this happens maybe over the shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's, the idea that there's a discussion that the Patriots, maybe we don't want to trade Jimmy G. Well, that's all to drive up the price, and they're going to get a
Of
monster
course.
haul.
I think they would be happy to keep him, but the price will be too good if he's truly the bell of the ball. Is that a reference to how hot Jimmy G is?
It
or-
can be if that's where you want to
Okay,
go with it.
cool.
Is that where you want to go with it?
I mean, he said
Clearly it is.
bell of the ball.
kind
Made
of
me think
football
it's
guy
like,
are you?
hey, this is the girl. This is the girl that everyone wants.
All right, here's mine. You ready? We're big on colons in our headline. That's
Yes.
the theme here. Bear of a decision, colon. No tag for Alshon? Now, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported this week that the Chicago Bears aren't going to tag wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey, or are not expected to. And that's a huge name to go, and you guys have your top 101 free agency list. He's got to be at the number one point at this list probably, because how often does a wide receiver of this skill set, Mark Sessler, end up hitting the open market at this age?
Well, I don't think any of us expected it to initially. We didn't think he'd be part of that top 101 list by the time it all shook out, but this is the team that knows him better than anyone, and they know how available or unavailable he is during the season because of injury. They're making this decision.
Well, they'd have to pay him $17 million, and yet I think Alshon Jeffrey could get that. I think by the end of this free agent cycle, he's the top-paid wide receiver in the league, whether
That's
he deserves
crazy.
it or not. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, you've got the top 4 teams in salary cap space combined for $330 million. Guys like Alshon Jeffrey are going to break the bank.
That's not crazy analysis. The Jimmy G hotness thing was crazy analysis.
Sorry.
But in terms of how much he could get paid, just the idea that a guy unproven, injury-prone, a PED suspension would end up becoming the highest-paid wide receiver.
Hard to find that position. I could see a team definitely doing it.
As I try to walk back my Jimmy G comment, I'm going to give you my headline.
All right.
Jets speeding towards Sheldon Richardson trade. Remember Sheldon Richardson? I mean, this was a guy who came in as one of the best rookies in the league. He was going to be one of the best defensive cornerstones for the Jets for a long time. I feel like he's gotten forgotten, and he's the most likely guy. Of all these possible trades, Jimmy G, he's the most likely guy to have some trade rumors at the Combine. We'll find out what teams want him, what teams will give up for him. I don't know if they're going to get a lot, but this is a talented player who's going to be given a second chance because we know teams get second
And
chance.
so the Jets front office, when his trade value could not possibly be lower, that's when they strike. I mean, that cannot make Jets fans happy.
I wouldn't be happy because I think he could do well somewhere else. But he's run out of time.
There's a reason why you're not hearing a lot about him, is because Sheldon Richardson was not a good player for a large part of last year, and also he was kind of a headache. He had some controversies. He's a guy that the Jets thought at one point they could build around, and they don't think he's that guy anymore, and they try to trade him. The Cowboys were connected to a trade deadline deal, Wes, but it never really happened, and yeah, they're going to try to get the most value, maybe a second-round pick I think the Jets would take.
Yeah, once these guys start getting franchise tagged, you're going to see that maybe Sheldon Richardson is as talented as any player available. Even if you have to give up a second-round pick for him, I think teams might go that route.